Once you're ready, well, the question's for Sam.
Hey, Sam, your dad talked a lot about just keeping a level head with the success you guys are having and now facing some opponents that might not have the impressive name on the front of the jersey. How have you seen this group kind of turn the page from what last week was to kind of a more unique challenge ahead over these next two?
Yeah, I think we've done a good job of it. We have a really mature group with me, Rank, Jamar, Kale, all of us. We've had a lot of experience, and that you can't look ahead in this league, in this game at all. So when you're playing a team like North Dakota, they may not on paper look like a tough opponent, but 2 years ago we were down 14 points, I believe, in the second half and almost threw that one away. So I know we are going to be ready for them, and we're not looking forward to Christmas already just because it's, a bye game right before it, and we're going to have – the game has all of our attention 100%.
What do you think has allowed you to kind of make the jump into the more complete offensive player this season?
Definitely confidence. It's been a huge mental thing for me. And, I've kind of been in a role where last few years it's been to just keep the ball moving. Didn't have a high usage rate, so it was hard to score at times, but I was fine with that. I bought into my role. And this year we moved the ball really well, and it gets around to me, and I've been able to make plays. But honestly, having like Charlie around, he's been huge for my confidence, and I've worked a lot on my mental game. I've meditated like the last 45 days, which was something I used to do when I was in a slump, and it helped pull me out, and then I would kind of stop when I was at a good point. But now I've kind of accumulated it and kept doing it, and it's led to me playing some of the best basketball of my career. So a big part is the mental game. Having Charlie there to build me up, but also working on it myself has allowed me to unlock a higher level of offensive game.
What's your meditation routine?
So I just do like 10 minutes of guided meditation on the Calm app. I've met with Dr. Bree over at the stadium, and she's been really helpful. But I've just been more consistent with it, 10 minutes every day, and then I'll do it twice on game days, and it's been really helpful for me. It's just called Returning to Now. That's what I've been doing lately.
What kind of things does Charlie do to help?
He just is there to remind me that he's seen me at my best. It's kind of funny. Like the best I've probably ever shot the ball was the alumni tournament for Pius after my freshman year of being here. I made like 13 threes in the first game or something and had 49 points, I think. But he's seen me shoot it at a really high level, which I haven't really even shown that much this year. I'm shooting it better, but I think there's another level of, at least with my shot, that I can get to, and that's confidence is where that's going to come from. And maybe I end up doing that here, maybe I don't. But he just always reminds me that I can get to a higher level, and I haven't like maxed out my ability. So just kind of, he gives me those reminders because I can be really tough on myself at times, and he just makes sure I stay positive.
Paige that mentioned that you guys are undefeated since Charlie's joined the staff. Is he the secret sauce for you guys?
He might be. He's helped me unlock a new level, so maybe he is.
What can you guys take away from those two games you played after Kansas City and Oklahoma, and maybe the lack of energy you guys had in those, and like you guys need to do better in this two-game stretch after that?
Yeah, I've talked about this. You look back 2 years ago, we had a really good team. It was more similar to this year. And our wake-up call games were the Creighton game where we lost by 30 and the game versus Minnesota where we let up a 18-point lead. And I think those two games were kind of wake-up calls for us. And we happened to win them, which was nice, but we did not play up to our best ability. And I think we've done a good job of learning from those games. So I think just maintaining the standard that we've had since those games, it's not necessarily you're like, look what happened in those games. Like, we can't let that happen again. It's more like we have to maintain the same standard we've had this month, which has allowed us to play better basketball.
I'm sure you saw, maybe heard Coach Underwood's comments about you after the game. What does that mean to you to get that kind of level of respect from a really good coach?
Yeah, I think it's so cool to hear those things from opposing coaches. I don't, get all the stats, and I don't do the glorious things in games. So just seeing that other coaches appreciate what I do and they know that it is helpful. And I've never really thought that they didn't think that or anything, but it is cool to hear them, talking to the press about it and, maybe showing some of the fans that are yelling at me about how terrible I am that, hey, your coach actually thinks I'm pretty good. But yeah, it's a good thing to hear.
Are you? Oh, go ahead.
Does that help your confidence too?
Yeah, I think it does. I've done a really good job of just staying level. I'm not like riding this confidence wave, and I had a bad game against Upstate, and I think I locked back in on my mental stuff, and that allowed me to get back to this kind of level that's been working for me for games. So I try not to take too much confidence from what other people say, but it definitely does give me a little bit.
As a point guard, you probably see it as well as anybody, but just with Price, obviously he's scoring, he's a threat, but in the second half against Illinois, the gravity that he drew from Illinois' defense and how much that opens things up for everybody else, how critical is that? Just obviously you get this production from him, but then just the attention that he draws that teams have to pay, otherwise they'll torch him. What does that do for your guys' offense?
Well, I mean, you feel it as a defender when you're playing a guy that you just know you can't give any inch of space or that thing's going in. Everyone on the floor knows where he's at, and if you let him get any space, guys are going to stunt towards him to try to not let him get a shot. So, I mean, one example is when Jamar slashed on a play where Price ran a go screen on me. I think it was Hummercow stunted at Price because he had gotten a little bit open, and Jamar slashed for a wide open layup. Having guys like Price and Rank who can get really hot and where the defense is so focused on them allows guys like me and Jamarcus to get easy baskets. So it's huge. And even games, I think last year, like Connor, he would have some of the higher plus minus when he didn't score much just because teams were so worried about him. So it's so important to have guys like that on your team.
How much are you enjoying podcast life since you started that?
It's been fun. So I want to get into TV stuff when I'm done playing basketball, and I just really want to get stuff on tape. I'm not necessarily trying to go viral on a podcast, but the guy I do it with is getting into broadcasting. So just having stuff on a tape reel you can send into companies when you're trying to get work, that's really the reason we're doing it. It's been fun.
Being around Nebraska basketball right now, where it's not just you guys having a ton of success, the women's team is having a lot of success right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're pretty close with the women's team too, and I think, that camaraderie and chemistry, it contributes to success, not just with your team, but if you have both teams rooting each other and feeling happy for each other and it's genuine, I think that goes a long way, and they're killing it right now. It's super fun to see, and we got to keep it up.
Sam?
Thanks, guys.